Bonjour. This is Isabelle Nakamoto. Bonjour, Jos.
Bonjour.
And bonjour to the audience. This is a second podcast that I'm making, and we're still trying to figure out the model. We're not sure. It's an adventure. So today it's going to be a co-adventure with a good friend of mine, Jos or Jocelyn Richard. Before we start, a little context. I'm Isabelle Nakamoto. This is my real name, and this is Real Gold. Obviously, I'm hiding my face, as you noticed. Some people ask why. I say because there's something wrong with my face. They say, "Oh," and I say, "Yes, I'm too pretty," and it's very distracting for people. Also, this is crypto, so we can be cryptic. I'm not only interested in crypto, but crypto is a great interest to me. Um, Joss and I know each other for, I want to say, 5 years. We met in a city in Germany, I believe, by happenstance at a conference, and we became friends. Joss then became my shaman, and he's gonna describe a little bit what that means and of his background, which is very very interesting. The first time I saw Joss, I was impressed and intrigued by his hair, of course, and for me that always meant something very important. And it sounds the same as the mask on my face. It means freedom. It means it means freedom. It's Taoism instead of Confucianism. It's freedom. It's a flow. It's the natural state. It's a certain yielding to nature and to what's happening and to the path of our lives. So I'm making a whole poetry out of it, as if I were Chat GPT here, Joss. So that's my intro. Joss, who are you?
So, as you said, I'm a shaman, and I've been yesterday in the Cathedral of Chartres, so Chartres Cathedral, and there I feel a lot of energy. So, if people came in France and visiting France, they can go to that cathedral, and will feel that they've got more power than they think. So that's mainly, I'm saying that because that's mainly what I am trying to give to people to so they can find the proper power inside themselves. And the need is to understand that you are powerful, that you have got idea, and you are on the earth just to realize your proper idea and spread your vision, your beautiful vision, and change the world by this way. So going in few places. So sometimes because I'm in Brittany, I go next to stones, big stones, and sometimes I go in church like the cathedral, and I feel that those places are really important to be well with yourself. And so that's why sometimes I give the advice to go there. And when that's not enough, people can ask me some advice.
Um, we get there's a lot of things already in what you said that I'd
Hmm.
like to comment on. Some of it will
Hmm.
come in a second, and
Hmm.
our audience might want to know what is a shaman, or what do you mean in your case as being a shaman, and but just before you get to that, I have one point to highlight about what you said, which I think
Hmm.
is very important to me. And you said something that we don't realize how powerful we are.
Yeah.
And the image I use sometimes is, these little elephant, they put the string to their paw and they pull and it doesn't come. And so all their life, when they have a string, even a small one, they forgot how powerful they are. They condition to
Hmm.
yield, to accept limitation that is completely in their
Hmm.
mind. And
Absolutely.
our job is to understand that all of these strings, all of these
Hmm.
stories that we have in our head
Hmm.
are not, that are limit us, to do very powerful things that we want to do. these
And
things
in
are
that way, you
constructs.
represent exactly that because you decided to go in front of light and to be to explain what's important as Nakamoto, and not a lot of people would have the courage, the, the envy, the choice, who have made that choice to go in front of life and to go in front of a camera and speak naturally. So you are a representation of why it is important to, if you've got ideas, to get them in front of the camera and realize them.
Well, I appreciate that you're recognizing that, and yes, and I'm not a billionaire yet, and as you know, my definition of a billionaire is to impact positively the life of a billion people, and to
Mhm.
also have $1 billion in the bank. But that's really secondary, and it really doesn't matter. The point is that we all have something to say in our life, something to express, a song in our head. And the biggest tragedy in life for anybody, the saddest thing you could imagine, is to live your life and not to express that song, that unique thing you want to say. And then later in life to say, I could have done it. I could have, if I had been less scared about mostly what other people are thinking. That's really the ultimate scare. What are people going to think? If I had been less scared of people's judgment, I could have contributed that message that I have. And that's the saddest thing you can imagine in life. This is tragic. This is really what we wish to nobody in their life. And so what you said, I want to repeat it as many times because you said something important, using the voice, meaning the power of words, to help people cut these strings that prevent them in their head to do things they really want to do. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, yeah. I think people feel with what happened on the planet, people feel more and more scared and saying, have bad thoughts about the future. And my job, the job of chairman and profession shamanism, is to go into companies and make people working together and see, have positive thinking about the future. So I prefer really to work with professionally in companies, and I'm more with uh, um, personal people. That's the way I'm working with shamanism, and
You said you prefer to
mm.
work with company than just individuals
It's
at this point.
it's. I feel like it is important to put beautiful energy in companies, so that can help to change things. I've done personal change in the past, and now in a way I'm changing my shamanism to something more directed to companies.
If I
So it's
may
an evolution.
be very practical, I'm also a capitalist, and the
Okay.
market, the market is with companies.
Mhm.
I mean, all of us need to have our financial needs covered, and
Mhm.
if I were in the shamanism field, I would say that the biggest market, and I know that sounds maybe strange to talk about it as a market, but it is a market. The biggest market is probably enterprise, and they do need support. They do need help to change, and I think that you're providing a very interesting, very powerful way to help organizations change.
In a way, it's a challenge because that's that's the last one that will think about shamanism to have better, to function better, to work better internally. People used to ask for help and want to reconnect to any spirituality, but I think that in our world, companies probably can be spiritual and find meanings to what they are doing, and they are the last one that would go to shamanism. But that's why that's my next challenge is to
Understand.
make more advertising on that.
Uh, how long have you been a shaman, and how did you become a shaman?
In a way, it's since I was born, but I became more interested in that when I was 15. I started to read a strange book about magic and using cards to understand future and that kind of things. And so I started when I was 20 to read things about of soul and going out of the body and seeing other worlds. And so I'm interested in all of that. But practically, it's like since 2012 or 2029 probably. So that's yeah, more than 10 years. And I start one day. I go in forest as there were a conference there, and we had this small exercise just to speak, to say the first thing that you've got, your intuition, the first word that your intuition give you, and instead of a word, I had sentences. And so I understand that there was more than intuition. And so the next level was to go in front of people. And I discovered that when I was in front of people, the intuition that I've got was different. So I understood that it was like what I called reading the energy of the people, because I was in the energy field of the people. And so the more the people were stressed and not a lot of people were talking with them, the more the energy was available and the understanding was available. So it's like was the energy was in distress state and say, oh, somebody is listening to us, we will say a lot of things. So that's usually the news.
Um,
And the
uh,
idea is to help as more as I can.
are people are people born shaman, or they become shaman?
Uh, I will say that's a path in your life. So I think being able to read things, read the energy, seeing ghosts, or some a lot of people can do that, but that's not because they are doing it that they are practicing it. So I know people that are afraid, so they can see ghosts, but are afraid of that and they don't want to use it. It's more a decision that you decide to use that completely in your life. But you can you can see strange things and deciding to be a normal person, or you can declare, okay, with what I feel, I want to use it, and I manifest it as I am a shaman.
Um, do you think I can be, or do you think I am a shaman
You
as
are
well?
on the way, of course. And it's like there was this decision that you make. I know that you made it. At some point, you retire, and you were on the point to reveal to people, to the entire earth, who you were, and only a few people saw you in parties and things like that, crypto parties. And at some point you say, oh, I want to be on YouTube, and finally you decide to retire, and then now you are coming, and it's in a way it's following something, following your intuition, and in a way that's the best way to become a shaman.
There's something interesting in that adventure that you described. So,
Mhm,
Isabel Nakamoto, was active for about 2 years, and then I retired.
mhm,
I disappeared for
mhm,
about 2 years or
mhm,
so, another 2 to 3
mhm,
years.
mhm,
And I know we talked at the time, and you said, "Well, Isabel should come back," and
I
I would
always said Isabel should come back, and one day Isabel will come
right,
back.
right, and to
That was nice because I was thinking about Isabel being interested in diamond,
yes,
and that's the perfect time for Isabel to come.
um, I did not believe you. Let's
Hmm.
be
Of
clear.
course, you never believe me. I know.
I thought Joss is wrong,
Mm,
and he should stop bringing it up.
mm,
I thought that, right? And at
mm,
some point, he's going to stop talking about Isabel.
mhm.
And I thought that's it. It's not going to come. We'll see. But I think at some point I'd say, well, if he comes, it comes back organically. If she comes back, she comes back organically.
Okay.
And now I'm reflecting. So when did I come back and why? Okay, let's think about it for a second. It's not clear. It's not even clear to me. That's a point
Mhm.
of shamanism, right? You do.
Yes.
It's okay to do things and not know why you do it.
Exactly. That's the
That,
point of you follow your intuition. You don't understand the logic of a thing. You only understand it at the end.
that's right.
And
Or not.
and Steve Jobs was really good at that because he took things to learn how to write
Yeah.
beautifully, and he used that later to do font in computers. So he took
Yes, that's right.
some courses and he didn't know why, and he understood
Yes.
only at the end why.
That's right. You know, not many people know that Steve Jobs initially was in calligraphy. He
Exactly.
studied not calligraphy, but font. Well, the beauty
Mm,
of font. I mean, that sounds so useless, right? And it turned out that it was key
of
to
Steve Jobs.
Mac and to
Yeah, that's
Apple
right.
and to the
Mm,
success. The beauty, the simplicity, the
mhm,
obsession with detail that nobody else sees or
mhm,
realizes, but
mhm.
that the artist behind it realizes details that you cannot see. Um, th-
So that's why I'm saying to people, do it if you feel it. It's intuitively that's something to do that way. Do it without trying to put some logic and find the reason of the outcome. You will know
yes.
it at the end.
I'm thinking about the Japanese animation Totoro and Spirited Away, and you've seen all of these, right? And
Mhm,
Studio Ghibli, and what's the name of that director behind Studio Ghibli? He said famously, or someone in
mhm,
the studio said, "Well, we have to put details there in this that people cannot see. It's not possible that people can see it. The same way, by the way, Steve Jobs insisted that things inside the box that nobody can see will be perfectly aligned. And
mm,
it sounds like a weird obsession and a
mm,
waste of resources. Like in your phone, the phone is beautiful, and
mm,
somehow you hide it in an ugly. It's a beauty. It's a single beauty, and it's hidden.
mm.
It's hidden. And now one of your tagline is le révélateur de vos beautés cachées,
Yes.
right? Revealing hidden beauties,
Mhm,
right? Or sometimes hiding beauties as well. Like this
mhm,
is a beauty object hidden in an ugly, cheap-ish cover.
mhm,
So the point you're making is that you're a big part. I'm thinking out loud here. I think
mhm,
you are, and I didn't actually realize it until this call. You're a big
mhm.
part of me, Isabel, being back,
Okay, that's nice.
and I did not think about it before this call, and I did not mentally give you credit for that before this call. And
Okay.
you've been the number one supporter of Isabel over the years,
Ex-
right?
mm, okay. Okay.
I'm
Good.
not exaggerating.
Okay.
You've been the number one supporter,
Mm,
and I know you were a little sad when I went away and I came back. Now, I
mhm.
wouldn't say I came back for you, but certainly you played a role in having me come back, even if I did not realize it at the time. I think the reason I came back are two things. It's always, again, I'm putting it in capitalistic terms, cost versus benefit. The
Okay.
benefit is for me that I enjoy it. It's fun. It's liberating, right? To have to be different. It's a to be protected also in some ways, right? To be different, uh, to allow different part of myself to express itself. It's very positive. Also, I think it's positive, and I'm turning to some colleague that might be listening from the Rexo project. It's positive to have a crypto influencer, Isabelle Nakamoto, helping a project that she believes in, Rexo, the digital diamond. I think it's an extremely exciting project. And Danielle, Gigi, Bruno, and Shahir, that whole team are doing amazing work. So I'm I'm super excited to help them. They haven't formally asked for my help or compensated me in any way. By the way, if they're listening, we should tell them, hey, Isabel wants to be an influencer, but she needs officially to get on the website, maybe, or somehow. Anyway, the point, it doesn't matter. I would do it anyway because I love what they do. So that's a benefit. Now the cost, because there's a big cost, especially in my first career, so to speak. These are the beautiful. Look at these beautiful Rexo diamond, the black, a black diamond, beautiful. Now, back in the day, in my first period of activity, I kept a very strict separate identity, and it was expensive. The amount of mental cost, real cost, complexity. Now, the new thing about Isabel today is that she doesn't care too much. I don't care too much about being doxxed. Now, don't go around doxing me, but I would still be mad at you. But I trust the community not to dox me, even if they have an idea of who I am. That's a new thing. And once I realize that, I realize the cost is nil. It doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost anything, right? Isabel is her own person, and anybody who wants to dox her can, but should not. Otherwise, Jos might have some bad karma coming your way. By the way, no, Jos will never send a spell on anybody, but I might. So don't dox me. Okay, thank you.
Mm. Okay.
So,
Nice.
so do you see what I mean? By the way, with that new, do you understand how I
I
made the
think it's
decision to come back?
extremely important to do the math exactly like you have done, and that's the way to do things. You want to do things, and you are too frightened to do them. But if you put a little bit of logic there and do the math and say there is zero consequences, or the problem finally is null. I thought the problem was enormous, but the finally problem is nil. Then you can do the move securely and be and enjoying doing the thing that was frightening first. So that was nice that you retire and thought about it, and because now you are in light and you are in peace with the fact of being in light. What's important, what the other thing I like to tell is never do something with too strong with muscle, shall I say, too strongly. If there is a resistance, just try to remove a resistance instead of trying to break it apart with muscle. So it's more there is a wall in front of you, and you just make it disappear instead of trying to break it with hammer. So that's what you have done. I remember you struggling to say, I want to be fully Isabel in plain light and retire finally. And that was important to take that time and say, oh, I can game and I don't care. And that's my decision, by the way.
You made another point that is part of your philosophy, and
Mhm.
which is also, it makes me think about again Taoism again, which is go with the flow, and
Exactly.
uh, don't try too hard, which is in a way is counter to a lot of maybe
Eh,
sometimes macho tech, whatever it
I,
takes. I
I will
can.
say it more strongly once again. Usually in American film, the storyline is you will always win, but you have to battle. And another way to see it from the, I would say, with Eastern philosophy is do it with the flow and do it as simply as you can and with less energy than you can. That's what one thing that I understood with the philosophy is to always do things with the minimum energy. It's exactly following the what are doing the plants. They are creating perfect leaf or perfect thing or um, the bee are creating the proper house, but with this hexagonal, because that's the maximizing a lot of things, and by maximizing and protecting the energy, the more you, the less you use energy and doing the thing, the more you are near the perfection. So the way you are doing it is more beautiful. So that's more Eastern than Western, who want to be, like you said, macho and show muscle and have this theme be strong and stronger than the difficulty. It's just remove the difficulty and you don't need to be stronger.
To me, when I hear that, I hear on one end there is Captain America and the Avenger and the American superhero
Mm-hmm,
theme, which
mm-hmm,
is I'm gonna I'm gonna find a way through this wall, and I
mm-hmm,
know it doesn't matter how difficult it is and how hard, and I'm gonna believe in it, and I'm gonna go through the wall. That's Captain America. And then there is My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away, right? Which is a more of an Eastern philosophy of going with the flow, of um, sometimes giving up, sometimes getting discouraged. Uh, and I think that the American theme of never give up, whatever you do, never give up, can easily be misunderstood and lead to a lack of flexibility
mm-hmm,
in dealing with what we're faced in life, including defining success, by the way,
mm-hmm,
including finding a different path to either the same goal or a different goal. So I actually think that in its the theme of never give up is that the main problem of people who don't reach their goal is that they give up too quickly. I think it's too easily misunderstood,
mm-hmm.
and it's actually it becomes such a dominant theme that it's dangerous for people, and their lack of success sometimes because they never give up. But they never give up climbing the round mountain for them on the right side of the wrong mountain, or the wrong side of the right mountain, or
Mm-hmm.
so the point is that that dominant theme of the never give up philosophy is actually success limiting, I think, for a lot of people. And what you're
Some point.
describing, which is more of an economy of effort, a flexibility of enjoying and questioning, am I climbing the right mountain? Am I climbing the right
Exactly.
mountain on the right side?
Why use your energy if you are on the wrong path? That's exactly the point.
Right.
So instead of that's my path and I will go through it, just ask you, oh no, that was this one. Oh, this one is easier. Yeah, the question
Right.
was nice. So
Yes.
but yeah, exactly.
Um, just we have 1 minute left, and
Okay.
so what we like to do at the end of this new series of podcasts with Isabel Nakamoto is to let our guests
Hmm.
give a message that either
Okay.
recapping what we said or some new ideas, whatever you want. So that, and we'll write it down. Our executive producer will write it down under the podcast for people to,
Okay.
together with your credentials, so they can find you.
Okay.
So what would be the phrase or sentence that you want them to write
So
down as a take
I've got,
home?
I'm used to something that is to connect to the energy of our meeting. and to let the energy speak by itself. So I love to do that. So that's what I would try. The question is not ideal, but the answer is terrifyingly beautiful.
They make sure I understood. Is terrifying you beautifully,
Terrifyingly beautiful.
or is terrifyingly beautiful?
Mm.
Jos, merci.
Merci à vous. Merci.